message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Yes, hello there. This message is for Yeager. This is William Montgomery speaking. I can be reached here at 970-825-4421 or 970-412-5463. I also have a brother named David Montgomery. He can be reached at 970-239-1580. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, but I have to start somewhere with voicemails. So here's the gist of it. I have been attempting to report crimes and policy violations, so that's statutable and policy violations, about the police officers in Fort Collins Police Services, to Internal Affairs. I've spoken to Dan Murphy. I've spoken to Jackie Pearson. I've spoken to Horton. And I've also spoken to Kinsman. Kinsman was the main guy in the end. I actually had a little bit of faith in Kinsman that he might do things right. He absolutely failed 100% on every single level. So that's why I have to go to you guys now. Also, too, I'm getting caught up on my paperwork, and it's starting to go up on YouTube, so we might actually have some things to work with now, since you guys didn't want to do any of the investigation yourselves. So let's just sum up a couple of things that I have an issue with here. I had Kinsman write me a letter on July 17th, 2017, stating a couple of things. So just to clarify here, let's see here. I had an issue with Giddings. It wasn't specifically on this September 9th date. I don't know why Kinsman put that in there. Maybe it was a typo. But the issues I had was on the 14th and the 15th. In general, these are the issues I had. And I'll get you the other side of the investigation for this. But I have a problem with that Occupy Jefferson protest because Giddings went to a Parks Department and grabbed a map that was not a Parks Department map. It wasn't an official map of the Park of Jefferson Park. And I tried to explain to Kinsman that he lied in the streets. He said that he confirmed these boundaries with the city attorney. And then when I asked him later on in court, he said that he never spoke to anybody about that. But he did in court say that these were the official source for boundaries, the Parks Department, and that the curb-to-curb map, the red and blue map that was provided, was also the official map. And when he actually went into court, I drilled down because I know that he was racketeering to cover things up. I got a question out of him. I asked him if there were two leases, since one would have to be for the green area outside of the red area on the map, and then obviously the red area for the railroad company. And he said there were two leases. There's literally only one lease for Jefferson Park, and it does not extend out into the sidewalk of Linden Street, by the way. So I'll get you that lease. So, but I already talked to the Parks Department, and they definitely say that they're not the official source of boundaries, and they pulled that map. And Jill Wirtz, their map coordinator person, explained to me that that was a maintenance map, like to pick up trash and stuff. And so all that's on audio. I already got this to the DA. He won't touch it. So I gave it to you guys, and you still won't touch it correctly. So I have to start all over with the Occupy Jefferson complaint. But moving on, the real kicker here, the thing that absolutely just astonishes me at this point, this is just something else, man. But I just got to say this. Kinsman wrote later on this letter, he said, "Furthermore, I want to point out that the nature of your complaints are generally the same. You have repeatedly challenged Fort Collins Police Service's officer decisions to charge you with criminal trespass, later to have the charge dismissed in court because of a technical issue regarding the legal boundaries of certain properties. You have repeatedly asserted dismissal of these tickets somehow verifies an element of wrongdoing on the officer's part, warranting an internal affairs investigation and a sustained Fort Collins Police Service's policy violation." I hate to break it to you guys, but Kinsman literally didn't do an investigation on that, and the proof is the charge is still active. It is literally still going, because I haven't put it in my motion to dismiss yet, and I wanted to see how many cronies I could take out in the DA's office. So when he says, you have repeatedly challenged Fort Collins Police Services officers' decisions to charge you with criminal trespass, that's the 16-0208 that he's referencing, later to have the charge dismissed in court because of a technical issue regarding the legal boundaries of certain properties. Why would Kinsman put the words, later to have the charge dismissed in court? That is literally a 100% failure to do the most basic job ever. It makes me wonder if he even picked up my paperwork at all, if he went through any of my cases at all, period. And so, let me put it this way. I already have audio of Kinsman previously, an actual conversation where I had to tell him this already, and he kept asking multiple times.
The maximum length for a recording. Finish your recording after the tone.
look, I already have audio of him asking me, really, it's not dropped? And I said, yes. And then later on in that conversation, he's like, really? Is it not dropped? And I was like, yes. And so here, he still can't believe that it's not dropped, even after I've told him. So it's a complete failure on all levels. Please give me a call back so we can start over with a new person.
The maximum length for a recording. To send this message, press pound or